All right, so let's warm up my voice here a little bit. Uh, Fucking, my truck's still doing something weird, and I should have had it looked at while I was in fucking Green, while I was seeing you guys. Oh, shout out Austin, Texas, by the way. And then I probably should have had it looked at more. But it wasn't doing anything when I came in, and then as soon as I wanted to go get some sushi last night, that's right, it was acting up. So I wanted to at least go to the much closer ferry. Rachel can explain it to you, Brian. But I was most of the way there and got a text alert. So I probably should have turned around and gone back to Greenville, but I just drove all the way to Hatteras because I want to be home. All right, so like, it sucked, but at least I'm on this boat right now. As long as my truck turns on when I get to the other side, we'll be okay. So I think you can see most of me. It's definitely a little visual joke, but so there's these three guys down in, I don't know, fucking it really Costa Rica, and they're not best friends, but they met at a hostel, and they're going home from the beach bar one night. It's really gorgeous out, so they decide to go for a walk on the beach before they go to sleep. And they're looking at the stars and shit. Well, one trips over what he thinks is a beer bottle. But it's actually a genie's lamp. So this genie pops out and he's like, I'm going to give you all 3 wishes. But you have to take turns. You each get 3, but we're going to take turns so that nobody makes the same wish for whatever reason, whatever genie, bullshit. And so the first guy, he's like, man, I grew up poor. I've always had financial anxiety. Like, I want to be the richest person in the world. I want to be richer than Elon Musk, and I wish Elon Musk was dead, but that's not part of my wish because I don't want to waste one on that guy. But I want to be richer than Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos put together. And the genie's like, cool, done. Like, there's no trick. You're not all of a sudden the richest man in the world because everybody's poor. I'm not that type of genie. Like, I'm not gonna fucking lawyer you. I'm gonna grant your wish. The guy's like, cool. This is the second guy. This guy's a little more philosophical. I'm trying to think of a way to describe him, like just a little more, I guess, self-aware than the first dude. And he's like, I've also had financial anxiety, but like, I'm not a capitalist, even if we live in a mostly capitalist society. And I would just like to never have to deal with money ever again. Like, so anytime I would need to use money, like I could just walk into a store and walk out, or if I'm in a foreign country, like, I'm not stealing from people less unfortunate than me, but money will just fly out of the ATM. But most of the time, I'd like to just not even have to interact with money. Like, anytime I would have to fill up my gas or buy my groceries, I don't have to do any of that stuff. It's all taken care of. And the genie's like, that's kind of cool. Like, yeah, we can do that for you. I'll make it work. And then we get to the third guy. Third guy, I don't know how else to say it. I mean, he's kind of like me, he's they're all in, they're all on the beach, but he's kind of a beach bum anyways type of dude. And he's like, he thinks about it for a while. The genie's like, like, I do have eternity, but also, like, I don't have all day. I got to wash up on some other beach somewhere, do the same routine again. And so the third guy, he's like, fuck. He's like, all right, I got this. He says, I just wish that forever, not when I'm sleeping, I guess, but any other time, basically when I'm up and about and moving, I want my right arm to always be rotating forwards, just constantly. Just doing this. Wish I had a little more room in this truck, but just trust me. So his arm is just always just windmilling forward. Genie's like, okay, that's one wish for each of you. Gets back to the first guy. First guy was like, all right, well, money's solved, but just in case, he's like, even though he's not like I say, he's not a philosopher, but he's not stupid either. He's like, I know money is probably gonna attract a lot of women to me, but like, I want to be attractive irregardless, or regardless. I never know how to use that word. That's me, Luke, talking. It's not part of the joke. And he's like, I just want to be just like the most physically attractive and emotionally and sexually and any other type of attraction you can think of. And mostly I want to pick up girls, but if, like, Tom Hardy's around, or a guy that looks like Tom Hardy, I want to be able to pull that too. The genie's like, all right, yeah, that's like, pretty standard genie stuff, like the money thing. I got you. Get to the second dude, the more philosophical kind of guy, and he's like, he says, I've been in good relationships and bad relationships, and I know that I have to be happy with myself before I can be happy with someone else, but I would really like a partner in this life, a true equal, and it doesn't have to be today or tomorrow, but like, I want to find, the true love, like, if that's even a thing. The genie's like, yeah, like, not to get into it, but true love's hard to define, and I'm a genie, so I know every language in the world, but I know what you mean, and pretty soon you're gonna meet someone and spend the rest of your life with them, and they're gonna compliment you in every way, and instead of being half of one thing, you're just gonna be part of a fuller whole. Philosopher dude's like, thank you so much. Third guy, he's like, all right. He's like, so those guys got that. He's like, all right, well, I guess, like, that stuff sounds pretty good. Genie's like, well, don't get it twisted. Like, I wanted to give you time to think about your wishes, but if you liked those guys' wishes, you can make a wish like that too. And he's like, he thinks about it for a second. Looks at the stars, listens to the ocean crash, and he's like, as long as I got my right arm doing this, he's like, if you could just always have it so that my left arm is going the other way. So my right arm is going forward and my left arm's always going backwards, in perfect syncopated rhythm. And genie's like, yep, I don't get that one a lot, but I can make that work for you. And the guy's like, cool, thanks. Now it's the first guy's turn again. First guy was like, when I was a kid, I read a lot of science fiction, and like, I've really always wondered what the future was going to be like. So if I'm already rich and so attractive, I'd also like to live forever, not like trapped under the water. The genie's like, hey, I'm not that kind of genie. Like, there's no fucking M. Night Shyamalan Goosebumps twist. Like, I get it. You want to live forever, but like, when the universe ends or the earth ends, like, you're out. or if you get too tired of it. The guy's like, yeah, he's like, I just want to experience the totality of human experience. She's like, that one's fairly common, throughout the ages. Maybe you even met somebody that had it and you didn't even know. So he's like, cool, awesome. So money, women, and immortality, awesome. Second guy, like I said, he's more philosophical, but he's like, I'm also interested in the future, but I think that death is part of life. So I just, I want to live a really long time and be really healthy. I don't ever even want to get the common cold if as long as that doesn't count as a separate wish. If I could just always basically be healthy and then get to a natural, very old age and just to die surrounded by loved ones and experience what the next stage of life is. And Genie's like, cool, I got you. You're never going to even though you're the guy that magically can walk into a doctor's office, even in America. The Genie dumps on America for a little bit here, and get the perfect care. You don't need it anymore. You're never, dentist, no eye vision. It's whenever your cells finally die out, that's it. But until then, you're set. You guys like, awesome. Gets the third guy, and he's already sitting there. His right arm's going forward, his left arm's going backwards. Sorry, it's kind of hard to do in a truck. And he's like, all right, well, I already got my right arm, doing this, my left arm doing this. And he's like, I guess I can't think of anything else. Like, you kind of put me on the spot here, Gene. He's like, I guess if you could just make it so my head is always just bobbing back and forth, not when I'm sleeping, but, the rest of the time, just constantly kind of doing this, like a bird almost. Genie's like, that's a new one, but, sure, not really a big test of my Genie powers, but these other guys have pushed me to it. So fine. Cool. So they're like, man, that was, and then the Genie, disappears, and the lamp disappears to go wash up on some other beach, and they were like, man, that was crazy. Like, I wonder if any of that shit's gonna come true. And the one dude is already doing this, so we don't have to worry about him. He's like, guys, I think it worked. And they're like, oh, yeah, but like, you could just be, fucking with us right now. Maybe this whole thing was your idea. He's like, no. He's like, I really wish for those things. He's like, let's meet up in 10 years and see how everybody's wishes turned out. And he's like, yep. And the philosopher dude's like, yep. And the little more vain dude's like, cool. We'll all meet, even with all our powerful wishes, climate change is real. Let's meet in like Canada, probably maybe a beach isn't our best bet. And they're all like, cool. We'll pick a spot and we'll meet there in 10 years and, stay in touch just in case. So beach doesn't disappear, but it's smart to be worried about climate change. So they meet up, now instead of a beach, they're in gorgeous ski lodge, just old wood, and it's just, the snow's falling outside, and it looks like a postcard. It's just gorgeous, and they all meet up. And the first guy, he's like, I've just had the most incredible 10 years. He said I'm just surrounded by women and men, and I have all this money, and I kind of went crazy with it like the first couple of years. Like I had a yacht, and I had a jet, and I actually bought Twitter, and from Elon Musk, even though I didn't want to give him money. I just wanted to do that. And then I also paid a bunch of people to shut down all of Elon Musk's favorite video games. So I'm sorry if you guys are a fan of those, but I just kind of had to do it. It's just, but after that first couple of years, I realized, he looks at the second guy, the philosopher. He's like, it is too much. And he's like, so, I backed off, I never have to worry about money, but I don't, I've donated 98% or probably 99. I don't know. I have a guy who takes care of all this stuff for me because I'm rich now, And he's like, with the immortality thing, he's like, look at me. I mean, obviously I'm not a day older, and if I wasn't meeting with you guys here right now, I'd be just flocked by beautiful men and women. So I think I found out I like them both about the same. So I'm really glad we ran into that genie, so I could figure that out about myself and just everything. And I guess this immortality thing's really gonna last, and I guess maybe we can meet up again another 10 or 20 years. That's kind of more up to you guys, but I've had an incredible experience, and I'm just really looking forward to seeing where it goes. So they get the second guy, and this dude, like I said, he's already a philosopher, but now he is just zenned out, dude. He's blissed out. And he's like, I met the love of my life. Actually, I mean, it sounds cliche, but on the flight home from that beach, when I was like, did I dream all that? Was that just nuts? I've had some pretty crazy stuff happen traveling, but like, did I dream that? He's like, and then I just got sat next to just the most beautiful woman in the world, and she had a tattoo that said "fuck ICE," and she was just the coolest person I ever met in my life. And we got to talking, and I'm never that guy, but maybe even if I'd imagined the genie, like, it gave me the confidence. So I was like, hey, I'm not trying to bother you, but we've had this great discussion on this plane. I don't want it to end here. And she says yes, and we don't have kids yet, but that's in, we're starting to think about that. But without the money, I've also, much like you, rich guy number one, he's like, I've done a lot of traveling, because I just, I kind of live outside the world of money now, and I've been to some incredible places. He says, I will admit, like, the one thing I realized, if I could never get sick, that means I could never be hungover or addicted to drugs, which the genie didn't mention, but it's just a little side effect. So, like, I had a couple years, he said, like I said, he's very zen now, but he's like, hedonism is also a school of thought of philosophy. He's like, I had a couple years where I was just doing all the drugs I wanted, and my wife was, it wasn't her favorite thing, but she understood it because I had been given this gift, and and I could do all the upsides of drugs with none of the downsides. The guy's like, well, man, that's pretty cool. Like, we didn't even fucking think about that, but that's like, yeah, dude, like, fucking shit. Like you holding, and he's like, he said, I'm still in perfect health. He said, never been to the doctor, never had a scare, spent a lot of time around kids, trying to get ready to have our own, and they're little germ factories. And I've never been sick. Haven't so much as had a fucking cough or even a fucking sneeze. He said, I think I still yawn, but that's nice. He said, I actually kind of miss sneezing sometimes, but not like 20 in a row, just one good sneeze. He said, I do miss that. But yeah, he said, you know, and I think I probably still have, you know, 80 or maybe even 100 years life ahead of me. And I just, you know, now that I don't have to think about money and I'm with just like, this perfect human being, and eventually we're going to build a family, like, and hopefully I can, you know, use this to make the world a better place, you know. And he's like, looks at the first guy, he's like, you know, now you say that you know, you had your day in the sun with the money, like, he's like, maybe we can really change the world. And the first guy's like, yeah, you know, I think we should. I think, like, maybe we could do right, you know, like, maybe we met that genie for a reason, or if not, maybe we could, you know, make our own reason out of it. So they look over at the third guy and they're like, so, like, how, you know, they're like, how did all three of your wishes work out? You know, like I said, third guy's kind of like me, still a beach bum, you know. It's been 10 years, but, you know, and he didn't wish for health or mortality like the other guys, so, you know, you can see time has moved on him, but he's not a bad looking dude. And he's still just, the whole time they've been having this conversation, he's still just doing that, you know, his right arm's going forward and his left arm's going backward and his head's bobbing up and down. And he can still drink a beer or whatever, but, you know, as soon as he puts the beer down, his head starts bobbing, and they're like, he's doing this, and he's bobbing up and down, and he's like, guys ask him, they're like, so, like, how did all three of your wishes work out? And he looks at him, and he's got this just, like, look in his eyes, like just, like, he can't explain it, like, what he's thinking, like. He looks at him and he's like, guys, I think I fucked up.